Friday isn't just a movie, it's a feeling. A lazy afternoon crammed into 90 minutes, hitting harder than films with 10 times the budget. We're breaking down 18 wild facts that will completely change how you see this film, from missing money to casting decisions that almost never happened. And buried in the bonus, a moment on set so real and uncontrollable that the crew had no choice but to keep the camera rolling. The list starts now. Number 1. The budget nobody can agree on. How much did Friday actually cost? Sounds simple. Nobody can answer it, including Ice Cube himself. In 2016, Cube tweeted that Friday cost $2.3 million, defending himself against criticism about underpaying the cast. But every official source tells a different story. Box Office Mojo says $3.5 million. IMDb says $3.5 million. New Line Cinema's own records say $3.5 million. That's a $1.2 million discrepancy nobody has ever explained. Either Cube is misremembering the budget of one of the most important films of his career, or every major database on the internet is wrong. Both options are genuinely hard to believe. Here's the thing, it doesn't matter whether it costs $2.3 or $3.5 million, Friday grossed $27.4 million worldwide. The missing million vanished into movie history and stayed there. That's Friday in a nutshell. Chaotic, hard to pin down, and wildly successful despite it all. Number 2, $10,000 and a hard no to $12 million. Chris Tucker got paid $10,000 to make Friday. 3 weeks of work. That's it. Tucker was unknown when he walked into that audition. The $10,000 wasn't an insult. It was a bet on someone nobody had heard of yet. Rush Hour follows, and he earns $5 million. Rush Hour 2 pays him $20 million. Rush Hour 3 pushes that to $25 million. By 2007, Tucker is officially the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Then, New Line comes back with $10 to $12 million for Next Friday. Tucker says no. He's found religion and doesn't want to portray someone constantly smoking weed. Ice Cube replaces him with Mike Epps. The sequels make money, but every single person who watches Next Friday knows something's missing. Tucker's $10,000 performance became one of the most iconic in comedy history. You can't buy that kind of lightning, and you definitely can't replace it. If you are enjoying this, take 2 seconds and leave a like. Subscribe if you want more videos like this. That support really motivates my work and helps a lot with bringing more content. Number 3, the writer who lost his own character. DJ Pooh didn't just co-write Friday with Ice Cube, he created Smokey, and he planned to play him. Smokey is based directly on Pooh's own past in South Central. He knew the character from the inside because in many ways, the character was him. Then, New Line Cinema said no. They wanted a proven comedian with stand-up experience. Pooh got bumped to the smaller role of Red, the guy who gets knocked out by Debo. Chris Rock auditioned for Smokey. Tommy Davidson auditioned. Then Chris Tucker walked in and improvised half his audition. Decision made on the spot. Pooh sat back and watched his own character become a cultural icon in someone else's hands. Tucker's manic energy, that falsetto voice, the physical panic in every scene, none of that was in the script. Pooh created Smokey. Tucker made people remember him forever. Number 4, the director who was terrified of his own movie. F. Gary Gray had directed music videos for Dr. Dre and Ice Cube. He'd never made a feature film. When Ice Cube offered him Friday as his debut, Gray almost said no out of pure panic. His biggest fear wasn't the budget or the schedule, it was the audience. This was 1995. Ice Cube had played Doughboy in Boys in the Hood, one of the most gripping, dramatic performances of the era. Gray was terrified that America simply would not believe the toughest man in the country could be funny. To manage that fear, he shot on location at actual houses belonging to childhood friends in South Central. The scene where Debo punches Red was filmed at Gray's actual childhood home. He cameos in the liquor store scene. He wasn't an outsider manufacturing authenticity. He grew up on those streets. Gray later directed The Italian Job and Straight Outta Compton, but he's never been as scared as he was on day 1 of Friday, watching Ice Cube try to make the world laugh. Number 5, Ice Cube was ready to max out credit cards for this film. Before New Line Cinema came calling, Ice Cube had a backup plan. He was going to do what Robert Townsend did with Hollywood Shuffle in 1987, finance the entire film by maxing out personal credit cards. Townsend made his comedy about black actors in Hollywood with no studio, no safety net, just a story worth telling, and personal debt to prove it. Hollywood Shuffle made $8 million. That number stuck in Cube's head. New Line heard about the script and stepped in with $3.5 million before a single card got swiped. But the willingness to risk personal bankruptcy for a movie about 2 guys on a porch tells you everything about how badly Ice Cube wanted Friday to exist. Hollywood Shuffle proved you could make a movie with no money, and no studio. Friday proved you could take that same independent spirit and turn it into a genuine box office hit. Number 6. One spaghetti dinner saved Chris Tucker's career. Chris Tucker's first audition for Friday was a disaster. He didn't understand the character. The casting directors weren't impressed. He walked out with nothing. Instead of giving up, Tucker tracked down Angela Means, already cast as Felicia, and asked for her acting coach's number. Means didn't hand over a number. She invited him to her house and cooked him spaghetti. They workshopped the role over dinner. Means later said that by the time the spaghetti was gone, Chris was Smokey. Tucker went back for his second audition with that coaching in his system. The manic energy, the falsetto panic, the physical comedy, it all traces back to that kitchen table. He got the part. The film made him a star, all because Angela Means chose generosity over guarding her acting coach like a trade secret. Number 7. The movie almost got an NC-17 rating because of the weed. Friday almost couldn't be shown in theaters, not because of violence or explicit content, because of the weed. When the film went through the MPAA ratings process, the board was troubled by how casually marijuana was portrayed. Smokey is high in nearly every scene. No moral consequence, no lesson, just laughs. That alone raised serious red flags. An NC-17 rating would have been catastrophic. Most theater chains won't show them. Major advertisers won't touch them. The filmmakers pushed back hard, arguing the tone was comedic and lighthearted, not advocacy. The MPAA eventually agreed and gave it an R. Looking at the film today, the idea that it was close to NC-17 territory seems almost absurd by modern standards. But at the time, Friday's casual approach to marijuana nearly kept it from ever reaching the audience that made it immortal. Number 8. The film is basically Ice Cube's real life. Ice Cube has called Friday mostly autobiographical, and that's not marketing. It's the actual origin of the script. Craig getting fired on his day off came straight from Cube's own family. His cousin worked for UPS and was let go after being accused of stealing boxes. The cousin swore he didn't do it. The company dropped him anyway. That real injustice became Craig's entire motivation in the movie. Smokey came from DJ Pooh's actual past in South Central. Nearly every character was built from composites of real people Cube, and Pooh knew growing up. Debo, Red, Big Worm, not copies of specific individuals, but assembled from the types who existed on those streets. Cube had always felt Hollywood showed only one version of the hood, the tragedy version. He wanted to show the version he knew, the jokes, the lazy afternoons, the neighborhood drama that was loud but never fatal. Before we keep going, subscribe if you haven't yet. Drop a comment telling me which movie or show you want me to cover next, with strange behind-the-scenes facts. I read every single one. Number 9. Chris Tucker's voice wasn't a performance trick. A lot of people assume Chris Tucker turned his voice up for laughs. That falsetto, the rapid-fire delivery, the pitch that makes every Smokey line hit like punctuation, surely it was an affectation for the character, right? He didn't. That was his actual voice. Tucker was in his early 20s when he filmed Friday, and that high vocal tone was simply how he sounded. No coaching, no rehearsed technique, no character choice. Just Tucker, unfiltered. That voice does something specific for Smokey. It creates a gap between the seriousness Smokey places on everything he says and the absurdity of what he's actually saying. The comedy lands harder because the contrast is so unexpected. It's also what made his rush hour persona translate globally. Over time, Tucker's voice matured. You can hear the difference by Rush Hour 2, but during Friday, it was at its peak. Natural, unfiltered, and funnier than anything a voice coach could have designed. Number 10. Bye. Felicia was a throwaway line for 20 years. In 1995, nobody noticed it. Angela Means plays Felicia for maybe 3 minutes total. She asks to borrow Craig's car. Craig says no. She asks for money. Smokey says no. She shuffles off. Ice Cube waves a hand. Bye, Felicia. Cut. Next scene. Nobody on set thought twice about it. Then 2015 happened. The internet rediscovered Friday, and those two words exploded into something nobody on that porch could have predicted. Politicians used it. Brands used it. People who'd never seen Friday used it as a universal dismissal. The wrong spelling followed it everywhere. Bye, Felicia means watched her tiny role become the thing everyone knew her for. In interviews, she's been emotional about being typecast for a moment that lasted about 4 seconds in 1995. Most people using the phrase today have zero idea where it came from. Means created one of the most quoted lines in film history and received nothing in return except a nickname that followed her everywhere. Number 11. Ice Cube made $5,000 acting in his own film. Ice Cube co-wrote Friday, produced it, and starred in it. His acting salary was $5,000. He wasn't focused on a paycheck. He had equity as a writer and creative force. His financial stake in the film's success went well beyond acting fees, but the number tells you everything about the scrappy, all-in environment that created this movie. Cube was betting on the story, not the salary. He wanted to prove that a film about black life in South Central that wasn't soaked in tragedy could work commercially, and that he could build something lasting outside of music. That bet paid off at a scale nobody anticipated. The film's success opened doors to sequels, merchandise, and a cultural footprint still active 30 years later. Sometimes the smallest paycheck leads to the biggest returns. Number 12. The bathroom scene was never in the script. John Witherspoon plays Mr. Jones, Craig's father. The toilet scene, where he lectures Craig through a bathroom door about bowls, cereal, and kitchen privileges, is not in the original screenplay. Not a single word. Witherspoon improvised the whole thing. Once F. Gary Gray realized what he had, he made the simple, correct call. Keep the camera rolling and let him work. Witherspoon wasn't doing bits. He was doing stand-up disguised as a scene. The line about 35 to 45 minutes, improvised, never scripted, became a classic. Witherspoon reprised the role in Next Friday and Friday After Next, and the toilet monologue traveled everywhere the film did. The scene proves what happens when a director trusts his actors and a veteran comedian trusts himself. Pure instinct beats a script every time. Number 13. Friday was almost a drama. When Ice Cube and DJ Pooh first developed Friday, it wasn't a comedy. Their original conversations were about South Central's real struggles: unemployment, police tension, the weight of growing up somewhere the odds were stacked against you. But as they kept writing, something shifted. The neighborhood they knew wasn't just tragedy, it was also weird neighbors, absurd conversations, and people who could make a joke out of anything just to get through the day. Those moments never made it into Hollywood films about South Central. Every movie showed the same grim version. They decided to show the other version. They kept the authenticity, but replaced the tragedy with laughs. A regular guy who just lost his job, a best friend who smoked too much, a neighborhood full of wild characters. The drama version of Friday probably would have been good. The comedy version became a classic. Knowing it could have gone either way makes you appreciate how close the world came to never getting the film we have. Quick reminder to subscribe if you are enjoying these revelations. And tell me in the comments, do you know any strange fact about this movie that I didn't mention? Let's build the list together. Number 14. Bernie Mac owned his entire role in one shooting day. Bernie Mac plays Pastor Clever for roughly 2 minutes of screen time, and according to production records, he filmed everything you see in a single day. The scene where Clever bolts out of Mrs. Parker's house in absolute panic, convinced he's witnessed a murder, is a masterclass in physical comedy. Film schools have studied it. The way Mac moves, the escalating hysteria in his voice, the perfect calibration between genuine terror and absurdity. It's all there in one take. What makes it work is commitment. Mac isn't playing the scene for laughs. He's playing it for fear. The character genuinely believes he's seen something horrific. Mac goes fully into that belief, and the comedy emerges from the gap between his panic and our knowledge that nothing is actually wrong. He came in, ran the scene, and left a permanent mark on the movie. 2 minutes, 1 day, one perfect performance. That's what separates a working comedian from a great one. Number 15. Critics didn't get it. The audience never forgot it. When Friday opened in 1995, the critical reception was mixed. Some praised the laid-back energy and chemistry. Others dismissed it as a shallow stoner comedy. A few simply didn't know what to do with it. The problem was context. By 1995, films about South Central had established a clear template. Boys and the Hood menaced the Seru society. Heavy, prestigious, dramatic. Friday came in with a completely different energy. Slow, funny, and built around a weed debt. Critics who expected another socially important urban drama found themselves watching two guys on a porch for 90 minutes. The audience disagreed completely. Word of mouth spread. VHS sales were enormous. Friday found its permanent home in living rooms, barbershops, and dorm rooms across the country. Every line got quoted. Every character got referenced. The gap between what critics said in 1995 and what audiences have said ever since is one of the biggest disconnects in comedy history. Friday is now a classic without qualification. The critics who dismissed it are mostly forgotten. Number 16. Friday was only Ice Cube's third screenplay ever written. Cube had written exactly 2 screenplays before Friday. Neither got made. He had no film school training, no formal classes, no mentor walking him him through structure. What he had was John Singleton's advice. If you can write a record, you can write a movie. He sat down with DJ Pooh and wrote Friday in weeks. No textbook, just memory. The characters they knew, the dialogue they'd heard their whole lives, the rhythms of a neighborhood they'd both grown up in. The structure is almost aggressively simple. One day, one neighborhood, one problem, Big Worm wants his money. Everything else is character interaction. No complicated plot machinery, just people being people for 90 minutes. His third screenplay became one of the most influential comedies of the 90s. All because a rapper took a filmmaker's advice about the relationship between lyrics and scripts. Turns out Singleton was completely right. Number 17. 3 legends died, waiting for a sequel that never came. John Witherspoon died in October 2019. Tommy Tiny Lister Jr. died in December 2020. Anthony A.J. Johnson died in September 2021. 3 of Friday's most beloved cast members gone within 2 years of each other. Ice Cube completed the Last Friday script in April 2019, 1 month before Witherspoon died. Warner Brothers rejected it. Cube wrote 2 versions, one where Craig is in prison, another built around Craig's relationship arc. The studio said no to both. Then Witherspoon died, then Lister, then Johnson. Ice Cube went public with his grief and frustration. You let our legends die. The franchise became a memorial instead of a continuation. Mr. Jones is gone. Debo is gone. Izal is gone. In June 2024, the project reportedly went back into development, but it's too late. You can't replace those performances. Friday is now a time capsule, a record of a moment, a neighborhood, and people who made the world laugh. That's its legacy now. Beautiful, irreplaceable, and tinged with everything that was lost. Almost at the end, and the best is still coming. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next, and drop your city or country in the comments. I want to see how far this video is reaching. Bonus: the 2 men in the background. Nobody could remove. And now we get to the moment the crew couldn't control, the one teased at the very start of this video. During Smokey's angel dust flashback sequence, there are 2 men sitting on a wall in the background. They're not extras. They're not part of the production. They just happened to be there when filming started. The crew asked them to move. They refused. Production offered to pay them as official background extras. They refused that too. They simply insisted on staying in the shot, on their wall, watching a movie get made in their neighborhood. F. Gary Gray did the math. Forcing the issue meant a confrontation that could shut down the shoot. The production couldn't afford the delay. He shot the scene with them in frame. 2 unauthorized people sitting on a wall ended up in the final cut of a film that grossed $27 million. But here's what Gray himself has acknowledged. It might be the most South Central moment in the entire movie. You cannot control the neighborhood. You can only work with it. That's what Gray knew from growing up there. Friday's authenticity doesn't come from production design. It comes from moments exactly like this one. Real, unscripted, and completely impossible to fake. The gang members stay, the scene works, the film is better for. And those were 18 strange facts about Friday. This is a film written in weeks, shot in 20 days, nearly killed by a ratings board, and dismissed by critics who didn't understand what they were watching. It became one of the most quoted, most rewatched comedies in American film history anyway, because it told the truth about where it came from. Ice Cube didn't make Friday to win awards. He made it to show a side of his neighborhood that Hollywood kept ignoring. Turns out the world was waiting for exactly that. If you made it this far, leave a like, subscribe, and comment which fact surprised you the most. And don't forget to suggest another movie that deserves a list of strange facts. See you in the next video.